Well, Olivier Guitta is an international security and geopolitical risk consultant. He joins us on the line now. What more can you tell us, Olivier?
Good afternoon. It's really, unfortunately, unsurprising that we see that kind of incident in France because of the sheer numbers of potential terrorists on home soil. We're talking about possibly 15,000. What I've seen is really something of a modus operandi that would make sense if the two attacks are linked, because police and army have been the first targets of Islamists, especially in the West, and that would make sense that the alleged jihadists would go after them and then take shelter maybe in the supermarket. I mean, it's a fluid situation. We don't know yet, but that would be the scenario that we've seen in the past.
What is the current threat level in France?
I lost you for a moment. The threat level in France?
What is the threat level in France currently?
Oh, it's the highest elevated level. What you can see is that even though it's not making the headlines, just last year, 20 foiled terror attacks were happening in France, including 7 in the past 2 months of 2017. So we're talking about an extremely high-level threat. And fortunately for now, security services have been able to thwart most of them.
And we understand that President Macron has ordered the Interior Minister to go to the scene. Is that as expected?
Yes, very much so. I mean, what is really troubling and could have an impact down the road in terms of the fear factor, and what has been happening is that, as you said, it happened in a small town in the southwest of France. It didn't happen in Paris or in Nice, and that could be a problematic scenario for security services if a lone jihadist would go with grenades or guns or even a knife and start attacking locally, if you will.
So there were 2 separate incidents, one in Carcassonne and the other in Trebes. Is there any significance to this part of southern France?
No, not really. And that's what concerns me in terms of where the threat is expanding is the fact that somebody could go just nearby his home and attack. Because it would be simpler, and there will be, less security services, because now Paris and some large cities have become fortresses still, and it's very difficult for terrorists to attack. So it would make sense that they would go after soft targets, or they would go after police or army, even in the rest of France.
It is still a very fluid scenario right now. How likely is it before we get an update from the authorities?
Depending on how quickly we get the unfolding of the hostage situation, usually they would know within a few hours if the person was on a terror watch list, who he was, and they would have visited his home and talked to witnesses. Usually it's within a few hours that the authorities could come back with the identity and the background of the terrorist.
OK, Olivier Guitta, for now, many thanks indeed. While the mayor of Trebes has been speaking, this is what he's had to say.